Okay, I'm going to introduce everybody to a new concept. It's not hard, you just got to pay attention. It's called synthetic division, okay? It's how you divide algebra expressions. X to the second minus 3x minus 40 divided by x plus 3, okay? Here's how you do synthetic division. You've never done anything like it. You're going to make an L. It's got to be kind of a big L, okay? Now, this is called your dividend. Dividend, just spell it. This is your divisor. It always goes like that. Now, here's what you do with your divisor. You set that, or no, let's talk about the dividend first. You make sure these all have coefficients. 1, -3, -40. Now you put the coefficients right here. You line them up inside. 1, -3, -40. You don't put the variables on. Okay, now here's what you do with your divisor. You set that expression equal to 0. You subtract 3 and you get -3. That goes here. Okay, so 1, -3, -40, and then -3. Now here's how you do this. This first number in the row is 1. That always drops down. Just make an arrow. Then anytime you drop something down, you multiply it to the divisor. So the product of 1 and -3, 1 times -3 is -3. Now you don't put -3 here. You put it right there. And you add these. Okay? -3 times -3, oh, you add them, sorry. -3 plus -3 is -6. Then whenever you add and it drops down, you put it there. -3 times -3 is 18. Okay. Then you add those, it's -22. Now here's what happens, okay? I want you to put that 1 directly under this. That used to be x to the second, but now it goes down to x, and then -6. Then this right here is known as your remainder. Okay? What you do is you put -22, then you underline it, and you put the expression that your divisor is, x plus 2. Okay? So that's how you divide it. It's kind of weird, you just have to get used to it. Okay? Next, we have 3x to the second power plus 7x minus 20 divided by the expression x plus 4. So this is my dividend. The coefficients are 3, 7, -20. Okay? X squared, x constant. Then I take the divisor, set it equal to 0. And I get -4. Now, this is always just drop down. You got to remember that. Then whenever I drop something down, I need to multiply it by the outside. 3 times -4 is -12. Don't put that here. It goes here so that I can add it to the 7. Okay? 7 plus -12 is -5. Then I drop the number, it always gets multiplied to that outside. -5 times -4 is +20. So I add those and it's 0. Okay, so that's called your remainder. Just put an R in front of the remainder. Okay, so if the remainder is 0, you don't have to put this thing at the end. So put your 3 under the 3. Now it was x to the second, well now it's going to be x. Okay? And then -5. And I don't need, if the remainder is 0, we don't have to put it over the x plus 4. So there's your answer. Now let me explain why this works. Now watch this. Don't let your ears just stand there doing nothing. Okay? This is the answer I got. Okay? I'm going to take 3x minus 5 on a paper. You don't have to do this. Just watch. Times x plus 4. The answer I get should be this. Because I got no remainders, so that means it's an even factor. These two multiply to exactly this. Let's prove it. So I take 3x times x, 3x times 4, negative 5 times x, negative 5 times 4. So that's 3x to the second, 12x, negative 5x, and negative 20. So I would put my 3x second. I would combine these. That would make 7x, and then minus 20. See, it's just like what you started with. It's like you're finding the other factor that would multiply to this. Now here it wouldn't because I got a remainder, okay? So again, when you get a remainder, that's fine, okay? You just put r, put that over the divisor expression, okay? Dividend divisor. So 1, you need to put 1s on, okay? So in the divisor, the degree is x to the third. So I have a 1, x second is a 3, x is a negative 1, and then the constant is a 2. So then whatever the divisor is, I set that equal to 0, and it's 1. So 1's going to be my divisor. Okay, now the 1 is dropped, and then I multiply 1 by 1. That's 1, but you don't put it here. You put it here and put a plus sign. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. And 3 times 1 is 3. So I got a remainder. Okay, I got 5. So that's called your remainder. Put an R in front of it. Remainder 5. Now you take your 1, line it up there. Now that was x to the third before I divided. Well, now it goes down a degree to x to the second. And then it would be plus 4x plus the constant 3 plus the remainder of 5 over the expression, the divisor. You got to put x minus 1, okay? Just like that. So that means these two, that's not an even factor like this one was, okay? Next one, x to the third power minus 13x minus 12 divided by x minus 4. Now you got to be careful on one like this. Now the degree is a third power, okay? So the third power has a coefficient of 1. There is no second power. The second power was skipped, so you account for the second power with a 0. Okay, then third power, second power, then x, that would be negative 13, and then the constant in the dividend is negative 12. Okay, now divisor, you deal with that. You just set it equal to 0 by adding, and that would be 4. So you drop your 1. 1 times 4 is 4. And you add 0 plus 4 is 4. And every time you drop it, you multiply 4 by 4. That's 16. Don't put 16 here. You got to fill that out. Again, this will be empty, but the rest of this, we need numbers that we can add. Negative 13 plus 16 is 3. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? When we add those, we get 0. So the remainder is 0. Okay? So 1. That used to be x to the third. Not anymore, it's x to the second, okay? Then the 4 would be x, and the 3 would be our constant. Now, if we get a remainder of 0, we don't need to write it. So when I get a remainder of 0, that means this times this will come out to exactly the dividend, okay? If I take these 3 terms times these 2 terms and FOIL, distribute, whatever, it will be exactly this, like I showed on example 2, okay? Next problem, 2x to the power of 3 plus 9x to the power of 2 plus 14x plus 5 divided by 2x plus 1. Okay? So your dividend, x to the third's the degree. So 2 is your x to the third. X to the second is there, it's 9. X is there, it's 14. And then the constant would be 5. Now somebody might ask, well, again, when 1 is skipped in the order of progression, you account for it with a 0, okay? Like on the last problem, but they were all there. They progressed in natural order. Okay, 2x plus 1 equals 0. So I need to, not only do I need to subtract 1, we need to divide the negative 1 by 2. Now you can put negative 0.5 or you can just put negative 1/2. So I drop the 2. 2 times negative 1/2 is negative 1. 9 plus negative 1 is 8. 8 times negative 1/2 is negative 4. 14 plus negative 4 is 10. 10 times negative 1/2 is negative 5. And then I get 0, remainder 0. So I put my 2. Now that used to be x to the third, well now it's down to x to the second when you divide. Plus 8x plus 10, and the remainder is 0. That means if I take this expression times this expression, it will come out to exactly the dividend expression. Okay, last problem. 3x to the fourth power minus 5x to the third power plus 2x to the second power plus 3x minus 2 divided by the expression 3x minus 2. Dividend divisor. So the dividend, x to the fourth is a degree, so we have a 3. Here's x to the third, we have a negative 5. Here's x to the second, we have a 2. Remember, if it's skipped, you got to put a 0. X would be 3, and then the constant would be negative 2. Now, the divisor, 3x minus 2 equals 0. So I add 2, 3x equals 2. Just leave that as 2/3, okay? So I drop my 3. On a calculator, 3 times 2/3 is going to be 2. And you don't put 2 here, you put it there. And then negative 3. Negative 3 times 2/3 is negative 2. Now you get a 0, you keep going, okay? 0 times anything, 0, okay? 3 plus 0 is 3. And then 3 times 2/3 is positive 2, okay? So that's 0. I got a remainder of 0. Okay, so I take my 3. It was x to the fourth. Well, now it's x to the third. Minus 3 be x second. Now the x term is going to be skipped because it's 0, and then I have my constant, which is just 3. Remainder is 0, so that's it. This times this comes out to exactly that. Okay, and that's it. Now, remember when you get a remainder of not 0, you put that 5 over the divisor expression. Don't just put R5. You put the 5 over the x minus 1.